everybody, welcome back to A Sweet Journey. I am Sonia, also known as Sweets, and it is the beginning of the year, and it's a really incredibly special day for me and my family. Today would have been my oldest sister's 60th birthday, and she passed away about 5 years ago, I think. And I just wanted to make sure that I have a video that I've recorded that is very specific to her and who she was, not just to me, not just to my family, but just to everybody who met her. And so that's what this video is for. My sister's passing was a huge loss. She had colon cancer, and it was devastating to our family. We had lost my mom just a year prior, and so it was hard. And one of the reasons that I have on red today is because that was her favorite color, which I thought I'd share some lessons that I learned, both spiritual and natural lessons, both from my spiritual life and from how it played out through my sister. So my sister was a fighter. She just, she was a fighter. She grew up having grandfather seizures when she was a little girl, and she survived that, and she went through life just if someone would pick on my brother, my understanding, or my sister, my understanding is that my sister, my left-handed sister with a very strong left hand, at that, she would fight his battles for him. So I do. And that could be just a story that made it through history. I think that's true, though. So we'll see. But I think the biggest fight that I watched her fight was the battle with colon cancer. When she was diagnosed, she really she wanted to live. And so she took the diagnosis and she did the things that she needed to do. And I remember, after having it for like maybe 4 or 5 years, after battling, going through chemotherapy and all of that, I remember we were all called in for, they were saying she wouldn't make it. Hospice was saying she wasn't going to make it past that day. So all of the family was called in. We all came in and we were all by her bedside. We were talking about what kind of funeral she might like. And we really were kind of planning her funeral. And one night, two things happened. One is that I experienced that left hook, which she had never hit me a day in my life. She was like a second mom, and my other sister was like a third mom for me, but she had never hit me a day in my life. But this night, something scared her in her sleep, and she woke up and she smack. And I remember that she hit me in my jaw, which was very painful. That's when I experienced that left hook. But another thing happened. She sat there and she was quiet for a minute, and she was just kind of thinking, and then she looked at me and said, I think I want to live a little bit longer. And I'm like, okay, let's do it. And she lived probably about a year and a half after that. We took her outside and got her some good sunlight, and my sister did her hair, and she just started we fired hospice, which was pretty awesome. And she just lived. She lived for another year to year and a half. So that is a lesson from my big sis. It matters a great deal how we choose to fight. We have news that comes in our lives, and sometimes it's really bad news, but what do we do with that? Another lesson that I learned from my sister is the lesson of loving other people hardcore. I remember, you know how you're around somebody and you just feel like loved? Like she had that gift where she can just make you feel 100% loved. And sometimes it was not what she said, but just kind of being in her presence. And that was one of the biggest gifts I think that we received from her. I just think that she loved really hardcore, and I want to live my life in such a way where people know me by the love that I extend to them or the love that they feel around me. And I think that's a principle that we can all live by, just practicing being loving and caring and compassionate toward other people. So thank you, Keikis, for that. And the last thing, I think one of the biggest characteristics for anybody who knew Cakes, you would know that she was not a person of many words. Oftentimes you would see her sitting in silence, but she was paying attention to everything, but she was sitting in silence. And if you got an opportunity to talk to her, she had some really interesting things to talk about. But she just, she wasn't a person of many words. And I think that that is wisdom. And the scripture says that we should be slow to speak and quick to listen. And I think that to me, that exemplifies who she is. She was slow to speak. But when she spoke, that was it. Put an exclamation point at the end of that comment. And so that was her. And anyway, so that is my sister Cakes. I hope you enjoyed hearing about my sis. I wanted to make sure that I honor her and introduce the world to my big sister in her absence. And I'm glad that she no longer has to be in pain. Glad she no longer has to suffer. And I also think, I think another gift, and this is kind of, I don't know, a different way to think about this, but because my sister passed of colon cancer, it allowed the family the opportunity to kind of get in front of what appears to be a genetic disposition for us. So because we were, like, if you were 10 years within the age of her, then we were supposed to go get a colonoscopy. I went to get one. It was fine. The second one that I went, that I had done, they found precancerous cells in my colon. And her passing allowed, and specifically passing from colon cancer, allowed us the opportunity to get in front of it and to not have to die from colon cancer, to get in front of it and to be able to head it off before it matures in our body. And so that's one perspective, and it's kind of how I see things. So that is Patty Cakes. Thank you all so much for watching. If you like this, please give me a thumbs up. I'd love to hear any comments. If you have struggles with the loss of a sibling or a parent or somebody really special to you, I'd love to hear your comments or read your comments. And definitely would love for you to subscribe. So thank you for stopping by, and I will see you next time. Bye.